flip it. Okay, there we go, that worked. Okay, that worked. Now I'm just gonna bring the stool. Now I look fucking short as hell, holy shit. Alright, I'm gonna bring the stool halfway down. Not quite. I'm gonna bring the stool down just a little bit more. I'll get it. There we go. Yeah. Fuck it, that's close enough. Okay. Boom. Okay, there we go. All right. Welcome, everybody, to Closet Gaming. I'm here in the closet of, I'm here in the closet, because I don't have any screens, so I can't, there's gotta be something I can, sit under that to make it look better. But yeah, I don't have any screens, to put on the windows. So, no view of the setup quite yet. Honestly, you'd think I'd have my wallet on me or something. See, what could I do? What could I do to remedy this problem? Using the tools that I have, I'm going to be resourceful. Using the tools that I have, I will make the camera angle a little bit better. And one might ask, well, GZ, what tools do you have? We have the bag that the chair I'm sitting in came in. We're going to use that. We're going to use that to try and, or to make the camera not have such a just terrible, terrible angle. At this rate, I might as well have just brought out the iPhone, which isn't here, it's at my mother's. Shit. Alright, well, back to using the tools at our disposal. We're gonna try. We're gonna at least try. Okay. Alright. We'll get it. Plus, this is the necessary distraction to help us reach the 10-minute mark. In order to, so the YouTube bots don't bother me with their nonsense. Early morning streams now with 100% more drywall. Well, Wezzy, I am, I am a man of the environment, and now the environment has drywall. All right, let's see if this works. Yeah, it kind of works. Hey! Okay, now I need to bring it up. Fuck. Alright, just a little more. But, you know what, fuck it. Maximum stool. So yeah, here we are, in the closet for, for today. At least until I can hunt down the property manager and ask how we do screens here. Because I will be damned if, we don't have screens, and then we move out, and then they try to charge us for screens. It's not gonna fly, because it's $50 a screen, and there are 2, 3, 4, 5, technically 5 windows, maybe 4. Either way, that's $200 to $250. Fuck that shit. I'm not paying that. I'm not even paying half. I'm not gonna pay half of that. Fuck that. But so until we do that, and because I don't want a Brazilian mosquitoes and spiders to get in, we're just gonna have to be here in the closet. Closet gaming. Except there is no gaming because yeah, let me just re-hook up to the computer real quick. I don't think I can do that. Hold on, there's effects on here that we can utilize. No, that just does not work. No, go away. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. Okay, yeah, no, I have no idea how to change the stream over to my computer when I go inside. It's just going to be fucking, I don't know. We're just going to do this today. We're just gonna do this today, and maybe I can get some shit figured out in a week. I mean, I do have today and tomorrow off still, so I could just go, locate the property manager, ask my question, and another question that I have that's related, and then bada bing, bada boom, I've got answers, and we just go from there. But I finally moved into the apartment after almost a month of, actually I think it next week would be a month. So yeah, after 3 weeks of saying, oh, don't worry guys, we'll get moved into the apartment, it's gonna be great. I finally did it. Only to stream from a closet. I mean, I guess it's not all bad. I streamed from my car last year. Last year? Yeah, it was last year. Yeah, it was last year. I streamed from the car, which was awesome. That was so funny. He's like, hello boys, welcome back to the car. We're streaming in the pitch darkness, where the only illumination that you see is every time I strike a match and the cherry of the cigar and the occasional, cryptid moving across the sparse lighting. It's whatever though. That's just what happens. Wait a minute. It's Monday. Wesley, what are you doing up? You have school. At least I think it's Monday. Yeah, because yesterday was Sunday. Yeah. Wait a minute, Wesley, it's Monday. What are you doing? You have school. You shouldn't be watching a live stream at school. For shame. 5 shame even upon you, Wesley, for watching a live stream at school. How could you? Wesley? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm flattered. But there's just more important things that you need to be tending to, during schooling hours. 5 minutes away and I don't need to leave until 7:30. Oh. Huh. I did not think about that one. Can I just leave the chat up? Is there something I can do with that? Nope. Maybe? I can't. Oh yeah, no, I could just ban you. No, I'm not doing that. Well, alright, 5 minutes away, wait a minute. 5 minutes away, 7:30. Huh. Well, Wesley, you just made it incredibly easy to stalk you. Considering I'm pretty sure your face is still on the staff page of that one school that you work at. And now that we know that you live 5 minutes away, that really narrows down the search radius for your domicile. This is good news. My hands are still covered in burnt particulates from the citronella torch. Good lord. This is gonna take forever to wash out. But yeah, okay, so yeah, now we know. Now the stalking radius has been reduced. We'll get you, Wesley. We'll get you. Yeah. But I got most of the stuff moved. At this point, obviously I have the setup, which the upgrades on the setup are not done and not ready, but they will be so good. And of course, I finally got my actual bed back too, so there's that. That's awesome. I know it's under 10 minutes, but we're going to light because I gotta get back to Warframe. All right, I started playing Warframe again. Because it's actually an enjoyable experience. But then again, it is just grinding. Grinding is an enjoyable experience. So, it is for me. Oh, fuck. It is for me, at least, so, Mostly because I think I can plot and grind efficiently. while, some people who, don't really enjoy the game, and part of it is, maybe they don't like the grind, and that's understandable. Maybe they can't figure out how to grind efficiently, and that is understandable, but not really excusable, because just look up a YouTube video, all right? Maybe some people can't figure out the modding system. That's understandable and excusable, because good God, figuring out the right balance of, different stats provided by the, 200 million mods in the game is not easy. Obviously, given that I've been playing the game since 2016, is Warframe my first love? No, Wizzy, please, don't insult me. I would never claim, an affection of that level for a video game, especially one made by Canadians. However, I will say that I do enjoy the game. But, it has some quirks that, turn a lot of people off. Like how stupid and complicated the modding system can be. Also just the way that DE fixes problems. DE fixes problems, which DE is the developer behind it. They fix problems in a rather unique way. And that unique way of fixing problems is also a pretty big turnoff. So, I can understand why people don't enjoy it. Also, the lore is like fucked up, and I like that too. Most of the quests are badly written. However, some of them really succeed. They know how to write when it counts. When it doesn't count, though, I don't know. I guess we'll all just go fuck ourselves. Anyway, let's get lit up here. So you're picking at this thing instead of fucking lighting it. All right. Here we go. Alright, here we go. Good enough. The matches are fusing together. Just one more second, I've almost got it. Well, I actually need to light the fucking thing. Okay. So, this is an enclosed space. So there will be hotboxing. However, there will be hotboxing. However, once my eyes start to burn, I'm probably just gonna crack the door that is immediately to my right here to ventilate a little bit. Also, I killed a hornet in here earlier. I ground it into powder, so, Might also be some spoders in here. I did spray the ones outside down with the raid, so we'll see if they come back. Because, as much as it would be cool, as much as it would be good and beneficial to buy peppermint oil in order to repel the spiders, I'm hoping just a nice, shower of raid in all the spots where the spiders were is enough to just get rid of them. At least for now. I think I said it before, but I'll definitely say it again. These shifts that I've been pulling recently, where I go in at 7 o'clock in the afternoon and work until 5 o'clock in the morning, they take their toll. But if it means I get 3 days off, I can work with 3 days off, especially since I gonna follow up on the part-time applications. So, I gotta follow up on those because, some extra employment is going to be quite good. Also, I realize I really need to pay attention to that spot on the screen right next to the camera, so that way I don't miss any delightful chat messages. Also, Wesley, how do I sound in here? Because speaking in here, at least from my perspective, the echo is really bad. If you do have, wait, hold on, what is it, hold on, what did you say just now? Woo, hold on. If you do have to pay, try to get a discount on your rent for it. That's not a bad idea. Anyway, returning to the question I was asking, Wesley, how do I sound in here? Am I too loud? Am I not loud enough? Is the echo really bad? Because I'm just kind of speaking at a normal volume, which is typically not enough for my microphone. At least for other streams in the past, I usually have to raise my voice just a little bit and lean a little closer. There's a lot of echo, but I sound fine. Yeah, see, that's the problem with this being an enclosed space. I don't know, maybe the next stream will be from the car. And I'll just, where could I go with ample lighting? So that way I'm not, an errant shadow figure. Yeah, but anyway, so if the screens were supposed to be here and they're not, then yeah, either way, I guess I'm going to try and negotiate a discount on the rent. Especially so if the screens were supposed to be here and they are not. Summer is coming. It actually starts next month. And so, the pragmatic solution, the pragmatic thing to do is to save money on air conditioning costs by simply opening the windows and allowing the natural breeze to flow. Not that I would be at the apartment over much if this whole part-time job thing goes through. But, for the times that I am in the apartment, it would be most good to simply let the natural breeze flow, and so I can, do the smoking streams from, my new and improved setup. Much improved, but not complete yet. I still need an HDMI cable in order to finish it off, and to, sort the rest of my knickknacks. I have a small shrine. Actually, another thing, I have 3 small shrines on my new desk. One to the chest that is full of treasure, one to the Egyptian god cards from Yu-Gi-Oh, and one of them has a woman from a doujin framed on it, so that somebody I used to work with gave me. It's all really nice. Also, having a big fat L desk is really nice. I have more space, I have more space, and considering I've also been using the desk as a dining table for my morning feedings, it's even better because I can just, have my monitors to my right, at least the 2 of them that are plugged in, and then just, feed, gorge on my steak flatbread tacos. Oh yes, okay. Oh, Wesley, you have the L desk. Do you have a double monitor setup too? Because the double monitor is something that I managed to get Aiden on, and I find it. He finds it to be quite good after a time period that no. Oh, Wesley, get the double monitor set up. All right, if you're gonna run more campaigns, the double monitor setup helps a lot because I can have you can just split things up a lot better. However, a problem that you may run into that I ran into for the first month of the setup is I kept losing my cursor. However, that will eventually remedy and you won't have to deal with that anymore. This would be a new home project, and yeah, maybe. Well, Wezzy, if you ever, strike it rich in the teaching business, you'll definitely be able to, attain an entire house, perhaps. I don't know. Our now that I think about it, is the meme of the teachers aren't paid well? Is that just a meme or is it real? Without, you don't have to disclose any exact numbers. A yes or no is fine. Is it a meme or is it real? Also, shit, I need to wipe this table off. There's cinders from the citronella torch all over the place. Note to self, wipe the table. It's complicated. Well, I guess that'll be something to discuss. As part of our pre-session bullshitting, assuming I have that day off. So that'll be quite good, perhaps. I mean, shit, I guess after a certain point, I'll just be gaming today. I've got a busy DoorDash day tomorrow, so, I won't be online much. Well, I think I'll be online after 2 a.m. It was funny because yesterday I got back from work and I thought, I've got the next 3 days off. I can do whatever I want. And so what did I do? I just started grinding in Warframe. And then, I think around 8 o'clock, Aiden showed back up here. And, we of course conversed as we are to do. And that led to us sitting on the balcony, and further conversing. And then 1 o'clock p.m. rolled around, and we decided, okay, here's how it's gonna go. The both of us are gonna take a nap, and we're gonna get up after the nap, and we're gonna go do the stuff that we need to do. He needs to do his laundry, and I needed to do my laundry and move more stuff. All right. Aiden was going to take like a 2-hour nap. I was going to take a 4-hour nap. I ended up sleeping for about 7 hours, and Aiden ended up sleeping for about 9. So it got to the point to where I texted him when I was ready to move the dresser. I said, "Hey, I overslept a little bit. I'm almost ready." And then he texted me back saying, "Oh yeah, I just got up." So that was funny that I wasn't not only was I not the only one who overslept, but I also wasn't the one who overslept the most. So this is quite good. Looking at this year so far, it has... That's a bit surprising. Yeah, I know, right? Well, I get the impression, I get the impression that Aiden had been up for some time. I mean, obviously I had been up for some time before, finally decided to go to bed. But the difference between me and him, just with those facts alone, is that I'm used to it. I'm basically nocturnal at this point. Um, but I get the suspicion that he had been up for a longer amount of time than I was, and also, I mean, he wasn't doing anything. He didn't have to go to work. He doesn't work on Saturdays. Um, but I get the impression that he was up for a longer period than me, and the the things that he was doing that day, on Saturday, were much more exhausting than me going to work. I sense that, I could just ask, once he wakes up, but, or once he gets back from work, I could ask, later, but that's just the impression that I get. But this whole move thing was not nearly as excruciating as. Yes, yep. Aiden and I are roommates now. It's I'm living with myself, in a manner of speaking. So that's quite something. Hopefully this whole situation does not turn into the same thing that occurred between Aiden and his friends in Cincinnati, but I don't sense that it will. But who knows? Anything could happen. Just as long as I don't have to move back into my mom's place, because that's just going to be a whole. It was a hassle to move back from Martinsville, and it would be a hassle to move back even from here. Just because of the space. Just because of this, just the space by itself. It's just a hassle. Were they messy or something? It's complicated. It's better for Aiden to explain what happened. It's complicated. I am not the person to recount the reasons, I guess, behind the fraying of that friendship and subsequent new geographical space that now exists between them. That's not my place. So, basically what happened was, these four guys, decided to, these were kind of just going to be colorful, maybe. I mean, necessarily colorful, but, yeah, it's basically what had happened was, this Aiden moved to Cincinnati for work, and all the other three were already there, so they all moved in together just to, cut costs, save money, and their cohabitation ran into some issues, and as a result of that, the friendship between the four of them kind of frayed, somewhat, and now they kind of separated from each other, physically. I mean, they're all still friends, but they're no longer, all of them are no longer under the same roof. They've all separated from each other, They've all gone their separate ways, at least in terms of, living situations and whatnot. And so, yeah, and so now, Aiden and I had even talked about, moving into a place together, for some time. And it was one of those things where we talked about it, and then we would talk about it some more, and then, then he moved to Cincinnati, I moved to Martinsville, And then we both moved back here, and then we finally thought, oh, okay, yeah, now we can actually do this. And now we're finally doing it, you know? God, I've got so much crap in my eyes. My eyes aren't burning yet, so I don't feel the need to, crack the door to ventilate, in which case the air conditioner outside is going to be even louder in here, I think. But now we're finally doing it. Well. Yes, Wezzy, this was quite good. Thank you for dropping in. I will continue to ramble, and of course the VOD will be available with an updated title and description, because streaming on my phone is new to me. And so, I did that little test stream to try and figure out the settings, and it didn't work out, so then I had to do this, and then I kind of stumbled into it and kind of got it figured out. So of course the VOD will be available with improved, I just now realized, am I sideways? Because I don't know if I got the orientation correct. Am I sideways? Or did I get the orientation correct? Before you go, please answer that question. Am I sideways? Please, Wezzy. I can't believe I didn't think to ask that question. It was fun. What? It was fun. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. I'm not sideways. Also, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to say guest starring, not guest staring. I guess that could be starring. Does starring have 2 R's? No, I guess not. Okay. Well, cool. Thank you, Wezzy, for, answering my, questions about, am I too loud? Am I sideways? Most good. Most good. Eventually, I guess I could do one of these streams where, I actually do talk to somebody on stream. I'm not opposed to that. It's just, it's just going to be me smoking, speaking, and eventually we'll, get into game. And depending on who it is that's actually, a proper guest star, we could just play the same game together, Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, the car setup mostly worked as well. The only problem was the darkness. But once I get at least a screen for my room, then oh baby, we fucking got it. We fucking got it. I'll just do the same thing I did in Martinsville. And, of course, we'll have my new and improved setup, my new and improved triple monitor setup. Hopefully I can get an HDMI cable by then. Probably not. It's definitely not in the budget for this month. And depending on how the employment situation goes, it may be, in the budget for July. It's definitely not going to be in the budget for June. June is, this month and June are still, this month is for stabilization, June is for recovery. And hopefully I get a part-time job in between then and now, so that way it's just a cash flow increase, So that way the bills are paid and, maybe I'll have a little extra money to, get rid of those debts like I want to. That would be good. Now that I think about it, I'm kind of surprised Donna's not in the chat. Yesterday, this Sunday close must have been hard on her. So she might have just collapsed or some such. I don't know. It doesn't, if it was hard on her, then, well, she needs to get some rest. It's been a rough, it was rough for her having 4 days off in a row. I say that, somewhat facetiously, but she was actually doing stuff during the time off. She wasn't just having time off. So, her getting rest, is going to be important. So I could understand if the last 2 days really took it out of her. Combined with the the 4 days of work that she did while she was not at work, you know. So, yeah, But yeah, so, I've kind of moved. I was playing Helldivers a lot, and now I'm back into Warframe because I was kind of getting tired of Helldivers. So, we'll just leave Helldivers for a little bit, and grind out some Warframe stuff. I really need to hit the Fissures hard, because there are so many new Prime things that I need to get a hold of, and level up. I think since I really want to get my hands on the Ac Magnus Prime and Harrow Prime, because I love the Ac Magnus, and of course the Prime version is just, it's gonna be better. I mean, come on. And then Harrow Prime, just because I'll be now that I've returned to Warframe, Harrow has 3 players, as CMD likes to joke. He's not difficult to use. It's just a matter of, getting your shots in the right spots. Getting those headshot kills and everything, so that way you can maximally restore energy. And of course the crit, the extra crit damage from his 4 is going to help with that. So there's that, It's just a matter of, adjusting to a frame that provides a lot of support. See, that's the thing is, most people are like, oh, support, I would rather do damage. Well, Harrow does both, alright? Infinite energy, infinite healing, and a fat damage steroid. What is there not to love, What is there not to love? It just, he just works. And with the Crusader build that, I run on my OG Harrow, oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so yummy. The problem is I'm pretty sure his relics are vaulted, because I don't even know what's in regular rotation except for Varuna. That's the only thing that I know. It's like, okay, Varuna Prime is out. That's the featured one. It's like, give us, he's like, give us money to skip the grind for the new thing. It's like, okay, cool, I can do that. I'm not going to do that, but that provides me with the information. Like, okay, this is probably what's in the current relics in rotation. Maybe I'll get lucky enough on enough random runs that, just kind of like cobble together a whole bunch of Prime stuff that I just don't have, and I can just build it. I've kind of already been doing that. Those conjunction survival missions are so good. Oh my god, they're so good. I love it. The game has returned. They DE did the thing that they do. They did their unique mistake fixing. So the game has returned to, a mission-based looter shooter. And I love that. That's why I was playing the game back in college. My eyes are starting to burn. That's why I love the game. And now that they've kind of returned to form with that, fantastic. I really need to sit down and just grind the Zeraman, though.
You are in here.
Yes, I am in here. Yeah, you got hit by the cloud, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh god, I could see it. Well, Aiden has opened the door, exposing me. Good god, no wonder my eyes were burning. It is cloudy in here.
Fuck.
So I sprayed the spiders down with that can of Raid in there. We will see if they return or if they died somewhere silently.
I'm not seeing them.
Well,
That's probably a good sign.
Well, I mean, spiders are nocturnal. So I sprayed the edges of the outside. I trapped the hornet in here, and then I killed it, right before I sprayed in here.
Mm.
Which actually, lean in here. Does it smell like orange chemicals?
Hard to tell with all the smoke, but
It was hard.
really.
It was hard to tell beforehand, and it doesn't smell funky outside on the balcony, does it?
Actually, now that you mention it, I can kind of smell a little bit of that orange.
Yeah, but it's not like
No, it's not
okay.
terrible.
Because I don't want to deal with like a smell complaint.
Mhm.
I don't want to have to put up with that because then I'll explain. Because then I have to explain to the property that it was just like me spraying raid to get rid of the spiders,
Yeah.
which I'm sure wouldn't be a big deal because look, I'm only gonna do this when I'm only gonna do it when the spiders are prevalent.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think there's really any lingering strong stench.
And if this being the balcony being open air is just going to kind of help alleviate that further. But I'm pretty sure that the can says that it keeps them away for a while. And since we're at a good angle for rain and stuff, I don't think it's going to wash away anytime soon. Good.
What do you have?
This is the Chillin' Moose 2. Spelled T-O-O instead of T-W-O.
Lovely.
It's whatever. It's decent.
I don't think I've ever had any of those.
Chillin' Moose. Let's see, I think at Low Bob's a 5-pack comes to $30.
That's not bad.
That's really not bad. So,
Yeah.
thanks for clearing out the smoke. My eyes aren't burning anymore.
Yeah, you're welcome. Huh. Hell, I think my teeth are pretty much back to normal at this point.
Oh, you missed it. Wesley was in the chat.
Let's see.
I lectured him. I was like, Wesley, you have school. You can't be on a live stream. And he said, I live 5 minutes away and I don't have to leave until 7:30.
Fair enough.
So now that narrows our stalking radius. We'll be able to find him.
All right.
Also, he's running an L desk with no double monitor.
Why?
Because he's a poor teacher.
I guess.
I'll see you. Alright, I'll see you later.
Goodbye.
Later.
Locking you back in. I was locking you away in here.
That box from this side. Okay. Well, he's locked me in the closet. I am now locked in here. See, that would be a bad thing, but like I said, the door locks from the inside, so I can just turn the lock and then turn the handle, assuming that he did not put one of the fucking chairs underneath the knob, so I actually am going to be trapped in here until 5:30. That would not be good. That would not be good. Because I don't want to piss in here. Among other things, But I feel better about this arrangement than I did about the arrangement in Martinsville, and I think the reason why is because, Aiden's my nephew. I've known him ever since he was born, right? I did not know my Martinsville roommate, who was also my boss, all right? Functionally, Aiden and I are equals here in the apartment. At the apartment in Martinsville, we were not equals. So, there's that. I feel a lot better about this setup. That, I was half joking when I said that I'm living with myself. Because we share a lot of the same interests, we have a lot of similar habits. Neither of us really do over much, All of his friends are all of his friends have enough geographic space to where they're not going to be over constantly, which really wouldn't bother me over much, because they're scared of me or something. And, as for my friends, yeah, I don't really have many of those. And, the ones that I do have don't really jive with my schedule. So, please don't peel off a bunch of the wrap. Okay, only a little tear where that blue spot was. So, two really similar guys, kind of just like whatever. I feel better about this setup. Oh, that was my knee. Okay. Oh, okay. But I gotta get. It's just for the nervousness, the anxiety. For me right now is just making sure that I can get the bills paid, because it was a little tight. It was a little tight there for a couple weeks, and it was frustrating, because I just wasn't making money fast enough. But I'll refrain from such talk, because I spoke too much about it at different points in the past, and I would like to refrain now and instead talk about things that I enjoy. Of course, of course I will touch on my feelings and what's causing them, which for now is just strictly. For now, my trepidation arises from just not making money fast enough. But I'm working to remedy that. Hopefully I get the job at the smoke shop. That'd be cool. It's like, yeah, all right, I mean, and since I smoke cigars, yeah, I'm a smoker, but a cigar takes a while, so I'm not going to be smoking on the clock. That reminds me, I have to edit videos today. Right. Gotta move my clothes over here. That's the big thing, is get the clothes over here, at least the majority of them, and then also edit those videos, and then the rest of it is functionally free time to do whatever I want. That'll be awesome. Maybe I can, I mean, I've still got that laptop over at Mom's. I could probably do some frame grinding over there while I let her borrow my car to go run her various errands. I could probably do that. That's probably fine. Probably won't do anything too intensive. Just do a little bit of grinding, a little frame grinding. Maybe just run capture missions for relics and stuff. Which I need to hit up CMD with that and tell them what I've learned about that stuff, so that way, we can tag team some shit on that, because it's the grind. Some of the grinds are just much better done with two people, and some of them, it's just kind of whatever. This one's not towering out, which is good, because the last few I had did. Means that my, pointer finger on this hand and the back of my hand was just covered in tar, and it took forever to wash off. I don't even think I got it all off, which is a whole thing. But, go over to Mom's, let her borrow the car, and then get back to my day off. I guess I could put the clothes in the car, so when I come back here, I don't have to leave again. That seems like it would be fine. It's actually the most efficient way to do it, so I don't have to make extraneous runs. And then next week, or in between my next days off, just sort through stuff so that I can bring more stuff over, and yeah, store what I don't need, and then just kind of decorate appropriately. You know, normal move-in stuff. But yeah, I've really neglected. Now that I've been doing, now that I've kind of like thrown myself into Warframe, it's been kind of consuming my time, and as a result, I have not been playing I haven't been playing any other games now that I think about it. So I'm gonna have to buck up and do that. Snowbreak is back, and I'm not depressed anymore. So I did, I realized, once I could log back into Snowbreak, it's like, oh shit, they came out with a new chapter, which is fine. But I didn't realize that made me now 3 chapters behind. And I was like, fuck. I have to savor the time that I have to play games, because once I'm employed at 2 places at once, I'm not going to have as much time. Yeah, well, that's just how it falls, I guess. No one ever said that, being shackled with student debt was going to be fun or easy. Of course, people are also like, oh, being an adult isn't fun or easy either. It can be. You just have to figure out how to have fun, and what to do to make it easier, right? Oh well. I also need to check it on the Martinsville boys, because they've gone pretty radio silent. Like, all right, boys, sound off. You still alive? Shit like that. We'll see. I might just leave this as a halfie, just because I don't enjoy hotboxing. I really don't. But I also don't want to open the door to let the air conditioner make noise, So I might just leave this at half and smoke it down the rest of the way later, before Aiden and I do whatever, Plus, I don't know when I'm actually going to crash today. Go to bed. You know what? Yeah, we're just gonna leave it. So I think for a little bit now, the closet streams are going to be a little bit shorter, and I'm probably only going to smoke half at a time, because I do not enjoy the hot box. That and my efforts to cut down on my smoking have been successful, and I'll still smoke a whole one, when the time arises, but this is not an ideal circumstance to do so. Plus, it's not like I'm wasting it, putting it in the box to save it for later. My grandpa, when I was young, he told me that I could have anything that I wanted so long as I didn't waste it. And, that philosophy kind of just carried. I try not to waste too terribly much. It's just good advice, because, for when it comes to these cigars, or anything really, typically you have to pay for it, and, use it to get your money's worth. And so, if you waste it, that's money wasted. One could argue that cigars in and of themselves are a waste of money, which, that argument has its merits. But, it's a relatively small thing now, especially nowadays, for me, that I choose to spend a little bit of money on here and there. So, I don't see it as a waste. But thank you everyone for sitting in the closet with me. I will be ending things off here. Thank you, and hopefully I can get some screens so we don't have to stream from the closet next week. Although I think I will stream from the car. Until then, later.